that his name? Jason Momoa? Jason Momoa. And it's very cute. Again, like I can't stop saying cute about this story because it is. Hey guys, I'm Kristen. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome for the very first time. Today is Bookmas Day 3. If you missed my previous Bookmas videos, don't worry, I will leave links to those videos in the description section below for you. So far on day 1, I shared with you my December TBR and talked a little bit about the Reindeer Readathon, a readathon I'm participating in for the month of December. And then on day 2, we did a little bit of Christmas shopping together. I shared with you my thoughts on the Book of Azrael by Amber V. Nicole, and then you watched me set up and decorate my Christmas tree. Today, for Bookmas Day 3, we are gonna talk Christmas books. We're gonna talk about the new holiday novella collection that Amazon just released, that just came out at the end of November. I went ahead and read the first 3 novellas in this collection. I'm going to share my thoughts with you on those 3, let you know if I recommend reading them or skipping them, in my honest opinion. Then we're going to read the 4th novella together in a little reading vlog, and then I will share with you my opinion on the book as soon as I finish reading it in real time. So grab your winter hot beverage of choice, your hot chocolate, your latte, your hot tea, whatever it may be, and get comfy, get cozy, and let's get Christmassy for Bookmas Day 3. Okay, so let's talk about the Home Sweet Holidays collection. So Amazon has been doing this thing where they get already popular authors in their genre to write short stories or novellas around a themed collection. I learned about this just this past October when they did the Halloween collection. They had a vampire novella written by Ali Hazelwood, and that's how this whole thing got on my radar. I read some of those. I read the Christmas novellas that Amazon released last Christmas. I believe they've also done some romance short stories around Valentine's Day. So I was not expecting them to release more Christmassy novellas since they just did the ones in October for Halloween, but I was wrong. Like the last week in November, they dropped the Home Sweet Holidays collection. All 4 novellas are Christmas or winter holiday themed. They're romances, but they're sweet romances. Last year's romances were a little bit more spicy. These are a little bit more sweet. And I thought, you know, I'd give them a try. Each book takes like an hour, maybe an hour and a half to read. So the Home Sweet Holidays collection has 4 novellas. None of these are authors I've ever read before or heard of before. And I had varying opinions of these novellas. One of them I really, really liked, one I didn't really like, and one was just kind of like, I liked it, it was okay. So I'm gonna let you know which is which. And then we will check out the 4th book and we'll see where it stacks up against these first 3. So let's just talk about the one I read first. No Place Like Home by Laura Pavlov. So the trope here is female main character has a thing for her brother's best friend. So her brother and his fiance are getting married on Christmas Day, and so she is traveling home for the wedding. She's in the wedding. The guy she's into is the brother's best friend. He's the best man. Our main female character's name is Goldie, and her brother's name is Jack. And no, I don't know why her name is Goldie, which is an unusual name, and her brother gets named Jack. But anyway, I did really like Jack and his fiance. They seemed like really fun people to hang out with. They seemed like, aside from having their wedding on Christmas Day, which would like highly affect all of your family and friends, they did seem like kind of like fun, cool people. I would almost like to know how they met and know like their origin story. They have like a rehearsal dinner where everybody in the wedding party has to come in like a Christmas costume. They're just like that fun, quirky couple. And so having them as the side characters really did add to the novella. I really liked that part of it. I will say that just a couple of weeks ago, I read one of the Christmas novellas from last year's Amazon collection, and it's called Cruel Winter with You by Ali Hazelwood. And I will say that even though the stories really aren't similar, like this setup for the plot is kind of similar, in that book it was her best friend's brother that she had a thing for, and in this one it's her brother's best friend. So they were kind of similar, so it was kind of hard not to compare them while I was reading, especially since I loved Cruel Winter with You. In Cruel Winter with You, they're basically stuck together the entire book in his house because of a snowstorm. In No Place Like Home, it's like the night after the wedding or the day after the wedding. I don't quite remember. I want to say it's the evening after the wedding, and she ends up having to stay at his house because of a snowstorm. So that was a little similarity there as well. Cruel Winter with You was also 72 pages, and No Place Like Home was 57 pages. And I really think that the extra 15 pages made a difference, because my complaint about No Place Like Home, there were two things. One, it really felt like a novella. It really felt short. And by that, I don't mean the amount of time it took me to read. I just mean like the story. It felt a little, I don't want to say unfinished. It wasn't like not polished or anything. It was just, it felt like a novella, like something was missing. And then my second complaint, number 2, was Goldie and Ace kind of revealed their feelings and it all happened too quickly. Like, I know we're in a novella. I know we got 57 pages here. I don't mind the couple getting together quickly, but it just felt like yearning, bam. Like, I don't know, something about it. I didn't dislike this one. Those two things kept me from like loving this one. So I gave Snowplace Like You, no, that's not it. So I gave Snowplace Like Home a solid 3 stars. Didn't love it, didn't hate it, would still read things by the author. It's not something that I want to gush and go on and on about. Okay, the second novella that I read was Merry and Bright. This one is written by Allie Rosen. Again, brand new to me author, never read anything by Allie Rosen, haven't even heard of the author Allie Rosen, I'm sorry. But this one, I really liked. I actually made a note on my phone that said at 15%, I could already tell that I like this one so much better. So this one is a story about 2 strangers who meet on a plane, never met each other before, and they make an agreement to spend each other's holiday together. This is really cool because this one incorporates both Hanukkah and Christmas. So I really liked that a lot. When I first read the synopsis, I was like, wait, they have Christmas on the same day. How are they gonna do this? But then I kept reading and I was like, her family celebrates Hanukkah. So he goes with her and pretends to be her boyfriend during the 8 days of Hanukkah. And then she goes and spends 2 or 3 days with his family for Christmas Eve and Christmas. So I really like the premise, first of all. Also, like the whole strangers meeting on the plane, that's either gonna be hit or miss for me, but this was done really well. This was done with banter, but like sweet, good-natured banter. So let me back up. Okay, so our main female character is Miriam, and she has a lot of like insecurities and things like that. Like she's able to kind of like make fun of herself. Her internal monologue is almost a little bit Allie Hazelwood-ish. Not as much, because like you're never gonna out Allie Hazelwood, but it's in that same, if you like that writing style, you would probably appreciate this novella. I don't know if all of this author's books are written like this, but like this particular one. And then our male main character, his name is Cal. He's a football player. He's a professional football player. And he is described literally in the book as a giant Jason Momoa. Wait, is that his name? Jason Momoa? Jason Momoa. He is described as a giant Jason Momoa lookalike type of man. So, like right off the bat, that's gonna get your attention. Miriam is small. She's not like unusually small, but she's like petite, and he is built like Jason Momoa. And they end up sitting next to each other on an airplane. They strike up conversation. They make this arrangement to go to each other's holidays and pretend to be a couple. And of course, little bit of chaos ensues. Some feelings are caught. The trope here is 100% fake dating. Add on top of that it's strangers making a deal to fake date, which I actually like even more, even though in real life that would be crazy. But in book world, I love that trope. This book had a reveal about halfway through about one of the characters, and I felt like it really deepened the story. Like I already liked it, but I felt like it really emotionally pulled me more into the book, so I really appreciated that. No, I won't spoil it for you and tell you what it was. This book was so cute. It was just cute, cute, cute. One cute after another. Like Miriam's family was very relatable, very realistic. Cal was just adorable and a very lovable character. He's just like the big giant teddy bear man. I just really enjoyed this one. It was very sweet, but at the same time it had depth to it. And I really love, I know I already said this, but I do also really love that it incorporated Hanukkah and Christmas. I thought that was really cool. And overall, there honestly wasn't much that could have made this story better, except if it was like a full-length book. So we got more of the story. And maybe if it had a little bit of spice, that would have been nice. But for what it was, a very sweet Christmas novella, 5 stars. Easy 5 stars. Like, 5 stars. Okay, the third and final of these novellas that I have already read is You Better Not Pout. This one was written by Mia Sosa. And unfortunately, this one is not a 5-star read. I was definitely disappointed in this one, and I will say it was my least favorite of the 3 novellas that I've read so far, which is a shame, but you know, it is what it is. So personally, if I only had time to read some of the novellas in this collection, I would probably skip this one. However, if you read the synopsis and the premise is like right up your alley, try it for yourself and make your own opinion. I literally read this in like an hour and 20 minutes. Very short read. So the first thing I will say about You Better Not Pout is that it's delightfully diverse. I really appreciated all the diversity. In You Better Not Pout, we have a Brazilian family who is speaking Portuguese on page all throughout the novella. We have a Puerto Rican male love interest. Our female main character's mother is in a relationship with a woman, and her mother as well also has a disability. She has lupus. So there's a lot of great representation on page, which makes me so sad that I didn't like the actual story itself more. My biggest problem with this story is I just couldn't connect with any of the characters. The premise for this one is that this couple, they were engaged, they were set to be married in like 5 or 6 months. They have just recently broken up, but they've made this deal that he will still go with her to her Christmas at her family's house and pretend to still be together in a relationship. I just couldn't like connect with either one of them. I did like a lot of Juliana's family, but I was also a little bit confused because there were a lot of them. I kind of wish there had been fewer characters, because for a novella, you don't have a lot of time to like remember characters' names and stuff. One of them was like a set of uncles who were twins, and I was getting them confused as well. But I did really like her mom and her mom's, I can't remember if it was her girlfriend or her wife, but her mom's partner. I did really like those 2 characters a lot. It was tough for me to get emotionally invested in this couple and root for them to get back together, because we hadn't really seen them when they were together, and there wasn't really like flashbacks to before they broke up. Maybe that actually is the thing. They could have used like another 5 or 6 pages in this one of like maybe flashbacks here and there to show us what they were like as a couple. Maybe that was part of the problem for me. I'm just now realizing that. They weren't particularly cutesy. They didn't really have a lot of good banner. They weren't like a steamy couple. They were just kind of blah. I just didn't really feel like there was any chemistry between the 2 characters. And so it was like, I'm rooting for them to get back together by the end of the novella because I know that's what I'm supposed to do, but I just didn't really care about them. So unfortunately, in the end, I gave You Better Not Pout 2 stars. Okay, so the 4th and final holiday novella, which we are gonna read in just a moment here, is All Wrapped Up in You by Rosie Danan. Holiday magic helps 2 oblivious neighbors discover just how close they are in best-selling author Rosie Danan's cheerful short story about big comedy, small tragedies, and the gifts found in between. When stand-up comedian Piper has a panic attack outside the club, it's not funny at all. I'm not in love with the fact that Piper's a stand-up comedian. That is either gonna make her a character I really like or a character I just can't really connect with. Totally depends on how her sense of humor is written. But I do like that she has a panic attack, although that's not, like, I don't like that for her as a character, but I like that that's written in the story because that's something that I can totally relate with. But Scott, a handsome ER doctor from the crowd, gives her something to smile about as he calms her down. Turns out they're neighbors, they just don't know it yet. When Christmas Eve presents an opportunity for them to get closer, Scott and Piper realize they share much more than just a wall. This one is 76 pages, so that is actually one of the longer novellas or short stories. I don't know what these really get classified as, but this is one of the longer ones. That usually bodes pretty well for me, unless I don't like it from the get-go, and then it's like a lot to read. But we are gonna read All Wrapped Up in You, so let's get cozy and read. Then I'll come back and talk about it a little bit when I'm done. Okay, so I'm gonna pause at 21% and kind of tell you my thoughts so far. It feels funny to stop like 20% into this book is like, I don't know, I've been reading like 13 minutes. I just wanna kind of let you know my thoughts so far on All Wrapped Up in You. I can tell already I like this better than You Better Not Pout. This is definitely, unless some weird stuff goes down in this one. This is definitely going to be on the higher end in my star rating. I would assume it's going to be minimal 3 stars, but we'll see. I mean, okay, so here's what I've written down so far. Cute start. The novella starts off with Piper, our main female character, texting with her friend, her bestie, I would assume, her BFF May, and she is kind of telling May how this neighbor that she has a crush on, who she's actually never seen from the front, she's never seen his face. They exchanged phone numbers because he broke something like in her front porch or something like that and left a note with his phone number, so they text with each other even though they've never really seen each other in person. She kind of has a crush on him. It's funny, it's comical. I was a little worried, but there are funny undertones and I like the sense of humor in the story so far. They then meet face to face when she's having a panic attack, except they don't realize who each other is. So we got a little bit of like a you've got mail thing going on here, and I like that. I like that a lot so far. You know, I just read the synopsis, but I didn't get that that's the type of trope that we were gonna get in this one, so it's a good start. Okay, I'm back. I just finished reading All Wrapped Up in You by Rosie Danon, so I'm going to tell you what I think. So definitely not my least favorite in the collection. You Better Not Pout, unfortunately, wins that title. But All Wrapped Up in You was actually really cute. I actually really liked this one. So before I even say anything else about the story, I did just want to say that there's a reference to the song Christmas Wrapping by the Waitresses playing at the hospital, and that is actually one of my favorite Christmas songs that I never see talked about or appreciated enough, frankly. So I just wanted to mention my appreciation for seeing that talked about in this book, but that's like totally besides the point. So we do have another trope here. We have him tending to her wounds, which is probably not super surprising because he is an ER doctor. But they do see each other again in person at the emergency room, and we do get some wound tending, so I know that that is a common trope that people like to see. When they eventually do see each other again in person and figure the whole thing out, it is definitely like very cute, very sweet, and then the rest of the book from that point forward is about them kind of navigating this situation. Like, the person that Piper thought like she had a crush on, and then she like met this actually like in person good looking guy that she kind of had a crush on, being the same person. And then Scott, like the overworked, like super tired ER doctor who doesn't think he has time for love or going out, you know, discovering that his neighbor he's been texting is actually like an attractive woman his own age, and they're kind of navigating like their secret thing that they each have for the other one, and it's very cute. Again, like I can't stop saying cute about this story because it is. It's just so stinking cute. It is very close to Merry and Bright for me as far as like cuteness goes. I will say though that this one was the least Christmassy feeling of the bunch, the least wintry, the least like holiday themed. I actually didn't even notice it when I was reading because I was enjoying the story so much, but this novella is definitely the least Christmassy and wintry. So that might be a reason to maybe skip it if that's 100% what you're going for, but I will say that this one gets a solid 4 stars for me. It is very close to Merry and Bright. I rank Merry and Bright just a little bit above this one. I was into the characters just a little bit more, but I will say that All Wrapped Up in You is definitely a winner in my book. So just to recap, the 4 home sweet holiday novellas. Snow Place Like Home, 3 stars. Merry and Bright, 5 stars. Solid read, loved it. You Better Not Pout, 2 stars unfortunately. Had a lot of things going for it in the premise and the diversity, but the execution and the characters just didn't fulfill for me. And All Wrapped Up in You, a solid 4 stars, definitely liked it. So those are my thoughts. read them all on your own and make your own opinion. But I will say, if you are somebody who's not into reading Christmas books usually, but you want to get a little bit in the holiday spirit, these novellas are a really great way to do that because they're short reads. You could read all 4 stories in like 4 hours. Or you can listen to them on audio, pop in some earbuds and play them while you are cooking Christmas Eve dinner. I don't know. Another thing that these novellas are good for is meeting your Goodreads goal or your reading goal on any other site. Not that you have to meet your goal, not that you have to read a certain number of books this year, but if you have set that challenge for yourself, these 4 novellas are each individually published books, so they could help you meet that goal. Just saying. And finally, these are just fun to read. If you want to read them just for something entertaining and quick to read, these are great for that. They have sweet romance, they're holiday themed, they're short and quick and easy to read, so I definitely recommend this collection. Some of the books in the collection more than others, but honestly, as a whole, I say give it a try. So that's it for this video. Thank you guys, as always, for being here with me for Bookmas Day 3. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any of the rest of my Bookmas videos in the month of December. And if you enjoyed the video while you were watching, feel free to give it a like. Leave me a comment in the comment section below letting me know your favorite Christmas book that you've read so far this season, or the top Christmas book on your TBR for this year. Thanks again, guys. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.